Okay, we're very close now, and we're just past 7:35, 7:36 today. So I'd like to get started, and thank you all for joining us for our May 24th, 2022 meeting. And apparently, I should turn off annotations. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Welcome to our main meeting. As a reminder for our virtual meetings for the Fairfax County Democratic Committee, if you please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom to indicate that you would like to be recognized to speak. We strongly recommend that you do not use the chat window for meeting business. There's a lot of there can be a lot of chat messages, and so we may miss something. So it's best if you get the floor, and so everyone can hear you. Whereas everyone else is not looking at chat. And if we do have a situation where we have a counted vote, we use the Zoom poll feature. You will get the poll, and you'll have your option to choose after you've selected. The window will disappear when you submit it. And you might need to exit the full screen view or swipe out of your view if you're on a phone or a tablet to see the poll when we launch them. So I'll try to remind you of those things. And then, of course, we'll share the results as well. I guess I'm realizing I don't have the new members in here yet. I guess even before we get to any of this, I mean, I just want to kind of react outside of approval of the agenda to the events of today. Somehow we have a supremely American problem where we have school shootings, and well, not even just school shootings, mass shootings, gun violence, and I think as Democrats, especially as Virginia Democrats, we know that we've made a lot of progress on those things. We've implemented some common sense gun reforms, and of course we're very happy about that. And of course the Republicans are trying to take some of that back where they can. So I think it's easy for us to say that we are resolved to do more on this issue. But I just kind of wanted to take a moment to reflect on how tragic and terrible it is that we continue to have situations like this, that there are parents that drop their kid off at school and the last time they see them is just heartbreaking. And we need to do more. We are the only country that has this problem. And we need to find ways to actually do work to solve this problem, where the Republicans continue to obfuscate, get in the way, and find ways to yell about problems but do absolutely nothing. So I feel great that we are the party that has done a lot on this issue for Virginia in particular. But we all know that there's more that we can do to work on this issue. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize that, because I'm sure that's on most of our minds today as we react to the news from today. Okay, so I guess I need to share my screen again. We have the approval of the agenda in the minutes. First, are there any changes to the agenda or minutes? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone trying to get the floor. So without objection, the agenda and minutes are both approved, and we can head on to the approval of new members. And as I mentioned, I just realized that I do not have the correct list on here. So just give me a moment. And I profoundly apologize, but we are uh, reaching a quorum here, so that's good. I do not know what happened to this email. I guess I just while I'm stalling, I will note that we have reached out to we have the district chairs have had meetings. They have discussed the process by which we talked to people seeking FCDC membership, and I think we more broadly now kind of apply, I don't want to call it vetting, but an approach to reaching out to folks who are trying to join the committee to understand who they are and where they're coming from before we vote on them as members. So I think that is great, and I know I've heard from at least the one district chair that I know that's not going to be here, that they have vetted the members, and that they are good members for this for us to consider today. I'm actually going to skip this and we're going to go to treasurer's report because I'm still having issues pulling up the list. But we will come back to this, I promise, without objection. So Nadia, if you are okay with that, I'm gonna skip ahead to treasurer's report and let you do that while I pull up the list of pending members. Nadia, are you there? There
Okay, so now I can unmute. I couldn't unmute before. Okay. Host is not allowing participants to unmute, it says. Can we make this a little bit bigger so people can actually see it? Well, maybe it's just me that my view has got a big picture of me in it and a little picture of the treasurer's report.
Yeah, I think that it might just be a review of it. It should be full screen for most people.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry.
People are saying in chat it's okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so basically what we have up front is a kind of a summary of where FCDC stands relative to its budget. And as everybody might be able to see, we're very early in the fiscal year. It started on April 1st. So if you look at the budget, we're planning to raise $412,000 this year, and so far we've raised $3,000. So you can see that we can't really get a full picture of where we are relative to the budget, or will be relative to the budget yet. So far, we have raised $3,000, spent $37,000, and have about $90,000 in the bank. And then for the district committees, they've been raising money much faster than we have. So they have about $135,000 in the bank, and the Spiro Committee Fund has $20,000. If you go to the second page, the district committees can see where they stand, each of them. So altogether, you can see that most of their money had been in the federal account, but a lot of these fundraisers have been pulling in non-federal money. So you can see that they're doing pretty well. The only district committee that really hasn't done much fundraising yet is Providence, as far as I can tell, and Sully, but they will when they get to it. So if there's any questions, please let me know. There's a lot more to this report and a lot more detail, but I know that it's really hard to see on a Zoom meeting. So if anyone wants to see it any other time, they can, request that I send it to them, and they can ask questions. So that's it, Brian.
Can you explain a little bit about
Yeah.
the fundraisers, or that we had some fundraisers that were in this fiscal year, but they don't
Oh,
apply to this
yeah.
fiscal year,
Okay,
just because
so,
it looks like, because we have raised
yeah,
some money since April
right.
1st,
Okay, I
but
can explain that. So the big fundraiser that we had this fiscal year so far was the road from Richmond, but it actually was an event that was scheduled, was part of last year's budget. It was meant to replace the straw poll in the last year's budget. So I took all that money and I moved it to last year's budget. And I think we netted about $6,000 on that, which was about 2,000 less than the budget. But we did pretty well on the road to Richmond. So I think that it, and we were kind of hamstrung by the fact that we had to have it at the Hilton, which is a very expensive place to have a fundraiser. So I think getting 6,000 out of that was a really good job. There's a couple other things that were moved to last fiscal year, small things, but somebody gave us a check for the road to Richmond this year, but it's really for last year's road to Richmond. So I moved that money over there. So I try to keep everything within the budget year and for the event when it was budgeted, as opposed to when we actually get the money. Does that explain it, Brian?
yep, that works for me. Thank you. And I apologize again, but let me go back and okay. So I'm pulling up the list of new members, and I guess this is not very readable here. Okay, I think that's is basically as good as I can get, I think. And if there are district chairs, I know were a couple things that that might not be oh, that did not work, reflected on this list. So please, if you can help me out there. I'm looking at let's see. Okay, Hunter Mill approved. Alan Lindsay. And I'm assuming that's here. And I think we misspelled Patricia. Yes. And then I think there's one other thing that I'm missing from Andrew Theodore Geis. Rachel, go ahead. Or we might need to let you unmute. Are you there, Rachel?
Sorry about that. I see that you corrected Pat Drobnik's name, but then Mount Vernon looks like it's a member of Mason. Is this all pushed down?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe we don't know.
In the associate, there it goes. It's fixed.
Okay, and Andy Pavord, are you there? I don't see him there. We have Theodore Geis as a voting member. Okay, for Providence, and is approved. So
yep, and he's not here, but he said they're all good to go. I talked to him earlier today.
Okay, I believe that this is the correct, updated, full, complete list of candidates. Oh, Andrew Scalise. Go ahead. I might have to unmute you. I don't know. And Jack.
Thanks, Brian. I direct messaged you through the Zoom three names for associates. That's my fault. I designed the process where district chairs would check off names, and then I've neglected to check them off, but they have been approved by the committee.
Where did you send them to me?
I direct message through Zoom. So the chat's probably busy.
Oh, okay. I think I just found them. Springfield says none, but we're going to change that to.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other changes to this? Okay, is there, since these members come forward from the district committees, they are up for consideration. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, without objection, all of these members are, their membership is affirmed to FCDC. Okay, thank you for putting up with that, and I again apologize. We always have a space in here for special guests, and we actually don't have any special guests to my knowledge. So we can just kind of zoom along here, no pun intended. And I mean, other than kind of what I already talked about at the beginning of this, you know, I feel like it can be easy to despair, you know, with all the crazy things that are happening, the things that Republicans are doing, the kind of complete nonsense of how things go and how they approach things, where they complain about something and then vote against it. But I think, I mean, I hope that to us that just kind of reinforces that we are kind of fighting the good fight. It gives this purpose to continue doing the things that we do, because it is so important to fight for gun safety, to fight for reproductive rights, to fight for LGBT rights, to fight for public schools. So you know, I know I feel good about that, and I hope you all do too, and that it will kind of reinforce and help. Maybe, I mean, it's sad to say, but maybe it'll help us get even more involved as we have important elections this year and of course next year as well. There are not a lot of, I'm going to say there's not a lot of things going on with FCDC, but I know my vice chairs, and I hope my vice chairs will correct me on that, because there are some things that we're starting to starting to come together, like I support our schools initiative, where we're going to put out messaging to support public education in FCPS in our school board, our Democratic school board. So Paul Jameson will talk about that. And Stephanie Sedgwick, I assume, will also kind of briefly talk about some of the things that we're doing in terms of trying to engage folks with some of the things that we're putting out, the things that we're doing at farmers markets, and then also kind of door hangers that we've produced to help educate folks. So I hope you'll learn more about that. But with Democratic nominees in the 11th and the 10th, we only have a primary election in the 8th, and we do have you know, actions that are going on related to that, in terms of having folks at the polls on the primary day, but also for early voting at the early voting location. So those are the big things that are going on, and things are progressing. The other kind of big thing that I want to talk about today is FCDC, with our approved budget, is hiring a finance director. So today we have released that position. The position description is posted on the Fairfax Democrats website. We'll get it out to job boards, and some folks that we know are going to reach out to people they know. We're trying to get folks to apply to this, to have kind of a why, and Jack just put in the chat the link to the job posting. So if you do know anyone who's interested, if you yourself are interested, or you know, whatever, we want to get this out there, because we want as many people who are qualified and interested to apply, because we want to hire the best person for this job. So I think that's really it from my perspective as chair of FCDC. And next we go to vice chair, committee, and caucus reports. So I believe I'm like looking for Paul, since Paul and or Stephanie. Paul, do you want to say anything about the Support Our Schools initiative and our request to?
Yes.
I was gonna say our request out to FCDC membership to share their skills and talents with us.
Yes, thank you. Can everybody hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay. let's see. We sent out a email to everybody at FCDC on May 18th at 4:30 p.m. That says that's from Paul Jameson, FCDC. Your talents needed to help FCDC. And what that did is it says, do you have communications, marketing, media relations, research, video production, or similar skills? If so, would you be willing to volunteer to help Fairfax Democrats? So far, we've gotten some 40-some people to click on the form and fill it out. But I'm happy to get more people to fill out the form and do it. We had our first introductory meeting last night. And the next phase is I'm going to be doing one-on-one meetings with the people who have expressed interest to kind of get a better sense of their skills and interests and abilities and commitment and get them particular assignments. So if you want to go back, if you're still interested in possibly interested in doing this, go look for an email from me at FCDC dated May 18th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. And there's a link to click on to fill out a form. And we're really looking for people to help out with this because what we're going to be doing is taking the fight to the Republicans on the school board issues in particular and putting together a bang up research and messaging program to take it to the Democrats or take it to the Republicans, and so we'll have a plan as to what we want to raise the money for, which goes to the fundraising part of what we're trying to do. But we want to have an idea of what we want the money to be going for, so we can put together a budget for that. So that's where we are at this point. I'll soon be talking to people one-on-one to get that done. So please go ahead and fill out that form and sign up if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. It looks like we maybe Jack. No, I was gonna say Jack actually did it, but it looks like Frank actually posted the link to the form in the chat. I'm not paying you for that, Frank. And Stephanie, I saw you, but you disappeared.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Can you hear
there you
me?
go. Yeah, I guess Jack was moving you to the front here. Go ahead with your update.
Yeah, so we are messaging, and we were already messaging about ban assault weapons, not books at the farm markets. And we will continue to message that. We have a full-size poster that's available now for the farm market managers to order. And we will be forming our messages based on the news, frankly, as the news cycle is changing. So we now have a group for all the farm market managers and people involved. And so we can very quickly get these out. And we're hoping that this group is this is kind of an incubator for what we're going to do moving forward with messaging. Today, we got a request for a poster for one of the events in Lee District, that we can come and with our messages clear, that we stand for gun safety, that we stand with women, that we stand with public schools, that we call out what public schools are doing well as that what our teachers do well, what our students do well. So this is just an ongoing process. We also, the CD8 door hangers are out. People are now in the process of notifying people who've been moved into CD8 that they're there and that they have a primary. And when we're done with that, we're going to move on to telling people who've been moved into CD11 that they're there and how they can vote and how they can get information on voting at Fairfax Votes. So this is all going on, both the logistical changes that people need to be aware of, and also improving, honing our messaging and making sure that our message is at the top. And that's what I've got.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Saddam, there we go. Saddam, would you like to make a announcement / report about our PFD?
Yep. So folks, let me just pull that up. So we are having our the annual FCDC flagship event on July 17th starting at 5:30. This is our Blue Fairfax dinner, formerly known as the Jefferson Obama dinner. Again, we ask that you purchase your ticket early, and the FCDC awardees will also be announced there as well. And if folks are willing to donate silent auction items, please reach out to me. There is a form as well that you would need to fill that out. Again, we ask that you get your ticket early. There is an early bird price for that, and we will have the link there. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. I guess I just will reinforce that. I mean, that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It is a really big deal, and we would love to see you there. You can buy the ticket is in the chat. The link is in the chat. bluefairfaxdinner.com. You can see that. I don't know if we know exactly kind of what everything's going to be in place. So we're still, a couple months out. But we will kind of follow public safety guidelines as it makes sense to do that. And hopefully things will not be as bad as they are right now. But I think that hopefully that answers that. Rachel Rifkin has her hand raised. Rachel, go ahead.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Have you haven't sent out the call for award nominations yet?
That was actually the second part I was going to say, and that's correct. But that's a very good point. If you know anyone out there who is deserving, an FCDC member who is deserving of an award, or someone who is not an FCDC member but goes out there and volunteers every year and helps us like Democrats, we have two categories of awards: district for the districts, a member of the year and a volunteer of the year. Volunteers are non-members. But we also have Young Democrat of the Year, Community Service Awards, and District of the Year awards. So we will be sending out requests for nominees for those things to membership soon. So keep a lookout for that. But start thinking about who is deserving of an award for the work. And really, technically, it's supposed to be for last year, so 2021. But But I digress. Okay, but yes, thanks for reminding us of that, Rachel. Nora, chair of the State and Local Affairs Standing Committee, go ahead.
Hello, am I muted?
Hi.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update that State and Local Affairs is continuing its work on affordable housing, and we are going to have the planning commissioner for the Sully district, Evelyn Spain, at our next meeting to continue that conversation. So yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know and invite them there for that.
And of course, you also have a resolution coming up for discussion under new business as well. Kelly Hebron, chair of the FCDC Black Caucus, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to let everyone know the Black Caucus. We've had a fantastic year. We had our last guest speaker was with Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, and we are working. We have a fundraiser coming up on June 11th with goodies, frozen custard, and frozen treats. As known as Famous from Food Network. So look for that information. We've sent a save the date. It's June 11th from 2 to 4 p.m. We hope to see everyone there with some good frozen custard ice cream and treats. And if you haven't had it, it's amazing. He does his home style Wisconsin custard and kind of slam dunks it in between two donuts. It's pretty awesome. So hopefully we'll see everyone there. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Next, and she doesn't have her hand raised, but she sent me a message. I have Maria Varel from Precinct Operations.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Just some updates on Precinct Ops. So as Brian mentioned, the 8th Congressional District has a primary coming up. It's the only primary in Fairfax County. Early voting is in 5 locations from June 11 to 18. Precincts in Braddock, Drainsville, Lee, Mason, Mount Vernon, and Providence will have primary are within the 8th Congressional District. So they'll be participating in the primary, which will be on June 21st. So this little commercial is to ask you to vote, ask you to volunteer to staff our 5 satellites and our 83 precincts. If you want to know where, when, the dates, the hours, please check the website fairfaxvotes.org, which is a fabulous resource for all of us, not only to use for ourselves, but to refer to friends. For volunteering at the polls, please get in touch with your district precinct ops vice chair. Here's a heads up on some other things that are happening. So we are supporting our Fairfax County candidates for US Rep, right? So in the 8th CD, we have a primary with Don Beyer. The primary outcome, we'll be supporting that winner. In the 11th CD, we have 175 precincts, and the incumbent is Jerry Conley. He does not have a primary, so we know he'll be the candidate. In the 10th CD, we have 8 precincts, and Wexton has no primary, so she'll be our candidate. We consider the 8th Congressional District and the 11th Congressional District to be safe seats, so we're going to do what we can to support them, but we also want to do what we can do to help keep our delegation, the Virginia delegation, a majority Democratic delegation, and do our bit to hold the US House. So Precinct Ops Committee folks have been, brainstorming and strategizing how we can ratchet up the support that we have for Luria, Spamberger, and Wexton. We're great at doing stuff all the time for other candidates. This year, we just really want to be focused and do more. So you will already see on the Fairfax County calendar that there are events to support these 3 women for phone banking and for canvassing. I encourage you to do something for each of these members. We have canvassing going on, phone banking, and donations, all 3. And so do what you can every month. Look and see, can you donate? Can you spend a couple hours supporting those 3 women? There's going to be more to follow. As I mentioned, Precinct Ops is working to develop more activities for all of us to do to support these 3 House members. How can we do it with fun? How can we do it? Maybe compete district against district about how we can support these members. We just really want to ratchet it up this year. It's vital that we do everything we can as Democrats in Virginia to keep Democrats in office. So get involved, get in touch with the Precinct Ops district person. If you don't know who it is, you can email me and I'll let you know. And again, to find out where any of the information is for voting or volunteering, look at fairfaxvotes.org or the Fairfax FCDC calendar. Any questions? That's it for me.
Okay. So I'm looking at the hands raised, and I was confused about some of those things. But it looks like Sue. I got a message from Leslie, and Sue has her hand raised, I think, to ask a question. So go ahead, Sue.
Yes, just a couple of things. One is there's no such thing as a safe seat. I just want to make sure that we recognize that. Back when in 2008, when Jerry Connolly was elected in the 11th district, he had something like a majority of 40,000 votes. And the DNC said, oh, he's safe. We don't have to worry about him. 2010, running against the same opponent, he won by 983 votes. So we can't neglect our 8th and 11th candidates as well. And I want to make sure that we go out and make sure that we get our votes out in those districts as well, working for those candidates. But I will say that a former 10th district resident, that it would be nice for the 10th district residents who are now in the 11th to write to Jennifer Wexton's new constituents and tell them how great she is as a congresswoman. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Wasn't really a question, but more as a comment. I mean, I agree. we can't take anything for granted, right? So we are still going to have to put in the work to win in the 8th and the 11th. But we are also maybe a little bit more concerned about these women that won in the blue wave, and helping to get them reelected as well. So we've got plenty of work to do. There's no lack of work that we're going to have to put in this year. Maria, do you have additional comment? I see your hands raised. Oh, I have to unmute. I guess I have to unmute you. I don't know how this is working right now. There we go.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I couldn't unmute. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, so sorry if I misled you for you to think that it's so safe we don't need to do anything. As precinct ops, we're organizing to do lots of things to support the 8th and the 11th candidates, but we're also calling attention to, which is the predominance of Fairfax County, but we're also just saying that we have the energy and the staffing to help out in these other 3, all of whom have been redistricted into much more conservative districts, especially Luria, and then Spanberger and Wexton, almost in that order. So for sure, we have stuff to do in Fairfax County, but we think that we have enough staffing and energy and will to win that we want to take in those 3 as well. And I'm encouraging everybody to do what they can. Thank you.
Okay. Leslie Mason had her hand raised, and I think it was about, did you mention that early voting is underway, or did someone mention early voting is underway in the 8th? If you live in the 8th congressional district, you can do that. You can do that at the Fairfax County Government Center in person, and then you can go to Fairfax Votes if you want to see all the locations and times for early voting, in addition to where your actual polling location is. Leslie Mason asked for a question, and we can pull up Stephanie again to allow her to speak about the materials that we were producing. I think she wanted to see maybe a look at what some of these things were. And Leslie, correct me if this is.
Jack, maybe Jack can pull them up. We had them last night at precinct ops.
This is the. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. This is the voter registration door hanger that was developed with the cooperation of precinct ops and voter registration committee, which is going to be, you notice that it's not tied to this election, so we can use it after November as well. Okay, Jack, what else can you get up? Okay, this is our CD8 piece that informs people they've been moved to CD8 and that they have a primary. And this one's out. People are using this right now. Okay, this is our piece for CD11. You notice we have Jerry on this piece. And so this will start going out after the primary is over.
Okay.
Okay, Jack, can you put up any of the posters? Show any of the posters we put together?
Jack, can you do that? Okay. He sent me the door hangers.
I'm sorry, I can't put them up myself. I have to change security settings on my computer.
No, it's okay. So I guess. If I can also add, I mean, obviously they don't say sample across them, and obviously also they were union printed, so they have union bugs on them. So
everything is so, and we have 4 poster size signs that fit into our A-frames. One of them's already out at the markets. It says "Stop the War on Women." We have a sign that says "Ban assault weapons, not books," that right now people are ordering from the various districts. We're collecting the orders. We have a sign that says "Vote." So there's our "Ban assault weapons, not books" sign. We have a sign that says "Vote like our democracy depends on it." And I'm missing one. Oh, and we have a terrific sign on redistricting. And you may have been redistricted. So we're not forgetting to do our work as well as to message. So at the same time as we're balancing the messaging with also making sure that we're there as a resource for our voters to help them navigate through this redistricting process.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie.
Okay.
All right, Sherry Nashnani for the Education Committee.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, everyone. So I just want to let you know, Saturday is our Education Committee meeting, and we have a special guest, Carl Frist, one of our school board members, who will be addressing us on the social emotional impacts that this pandemic has had, not only on our students, but our teachers. And for those of you who do not have children in the school system, you may have noticed during this pandemic era of politics that we've turned schools into battlefields and the kids are the casualties. So we do encourage everyone to get involved, join the Education Committee. We are committed to upholding the duties of our committee by identifying educational issues and also getting out the message and supporting our electeds. And so I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. I think Christy Small for the Women's Caucus is next. I think you're on.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Okay, it kept popping up on the screen. Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Small. I intended to be in my office and look professional, but life doesn't work out that way sometimes. So I had a child's activity run an hour over. But I wanted to introduce myself and say hi. I'm Christy Small. This is my first year with the Fairfax County Democrats, and this is my first year as the co-chair of the Women's Caucus with Maria Posey. And Jennifer Bond is our vice chair, and secretary is Katie Williams, and they are a fabulous team to work with. We are absolutely fired up, as you can imagine. There's so much going on. We have Roe v. Wade. We have 192 Republicans that can't seem to vote for a baby formula bill. And all of it is just things that we really are fired up about, and really, as the Women's Caucus, want to make sure that we are addressing and making sure that we are behind all of these initiatives to try to solve these issues. So something we've done this year is form subgroups. We have 3 subgroups. We have a Women in the Workplace subgroup led by Marianne Lako, and I saw that she was on here, and I can only see 4 squares right now, so I'm sorry. I wanted to see everybody. I can't see everybody, but I also wanted to drop Marianne's information in the chat, but I will just give you my email at the end of this. And if anyone's interested and wants to join and participate in these different subgroups, that would be fantastic. And so Women in the Workplace are working on language and facilitating how they're going to use that language around getting women on corporate boards and equal representation. And they're doing a really great job. And writing a bill right now actually is the avenue they're going. So we're going to see how that goes. And that's that group's focus. The second group we have is Electing Women in Politics, and that is run by Chris Clayton. And he is absolutely fantastic. We are excited that we've had a few men join in on our conversations. And we've actually had what I've been told is really good participation. So in years, last year's past, maybe a few people would join, but at the last meeting we did have 22. So we want to keep that uptick and excitement going. So if anyone would like to join our meetings, they are on the second Monday at 7 of every month. And then we have our third subgroup, which is family policy. And so that's the group right now who will be focusing on Roe v. Wade and really kicking that off. So if you would like to join any of those groups, I am ksmall2017@gmail.com. And maybe Brian, maybe you could drop that in the chat for me. I'm sorry, I don't have keyboard or anything right now. But we're really excited, and the group is really passionate, and I'm really excited to lead with Maria. And if you have any questions or want to join any of our meetings, we would love to have you. And thanks. I hope everyone is having a great night, and I hope to meet everyone soon.
All right. Thanks, Christy. I'm not seeing any other hands for reports. So kind of last call for that before we get into new business. Oh, Maritza.
Good evening. My name is Maritza. I'm the chair of the Latino Caucus. And I would like to share with you that we had our first regular FCDC Latino Caucus meeting last Thursday, May 19. We got around 95 great Democrats that joined the meeting. Representative Linda Sanchez from District 38 in California and Congressman Don Bayer for District 8 in Virginia gave us a lot to think about and some great guidance for activating the Latino community in Fairfax County. They stayed with us for more than 45 minutes. It was remarkable that we had so many community leaders attending and sharing their thoughts. We have 2 congressional representatives, 2 state delegates, 2 candidates for the General Assembly, 3 chairs of Democratic Latino organizations, and 2 leaders in the Latin community. If you're interested in joining to help activate the Latino community, please send me a note to latinos@fairfaxdemocrats.org. Thank you so much and keep in touch.
Oh, and I did, thank you, Maritza. Next is Amber Beekler for LGBTQA+ caucus.
Thanks, Brian. Just want to let everybody know who's already aware, Rest in Pride 2022 is coming up quick. It is the first Saturday of the month, June 4th. It's going to be from noon to 6 at Lake Ann Plaza. We will have our caucus is going to have a table there, and we're also tabling with the folks at Fairfax Young Democrats. So to have people come out and come attend it and yeah, have a great time. And hope there's a lot of people there. Also, we are looking for some volunteers. So the folks also are free to share an hour or 2 of their time. Be happy to have you. So, and I will put links to that down below.
Okay, thanks. It sounds like you're probably somewhere where I would prefer to be. But yes, we are almost in June for Pride Month, and Rest in Pride is the 6th, I think is what you just said, and then I think the following weekend is Capitol Pride. So thank you. Last call for committee reports. Oh, June 4th. I'm sorry, June 4th. June 4th from 12 to 6 at Lake Ann Plaza. Okay. I guess that puts us into new business now. We have a couple things that are pending new business based off of kind of where they came from. So the FCDC State and Local Affairs Committee has put forward, and the FCDC Steering Committee has unanimously recommended the adoption of this resolution. And I will give the floor to Nora Dell to introduce the resolution.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, so our resolution today, I'll just say a few words and then hopefully pass it over to some of my committee members as well in the Q&A to speak on it. But yeah, so the resolution that we have brought forward today is about equal notification of community planning, land use, and rezoning decision-making. So right now, our state law requires that property owners are notified of changes to zoning, but it doesn't really mention renters at all. And we've noticed that this policy isn't carried out consistently by county supervisors or local planning commissioners. And one example of this is that there was a occurrence in Mount Vernon district where mobile home park residents were not notified that their park was actually slated for a high density redevelopment. But there was a case in Lee district where they were notified. And so given that renters make up a third of residents in Fairfax County, we wanted to encourage our planning commission with this resolution to formally adopt a policy based in One Fairfax as well that requires just an equal notification and engagement with both renters, mobile home owners, and as well as landowners about local land use changes and comprehensive plan amendments and rezoning. So yeah, that's the quick summary. I would also like to thank Otis Langford and Mary Payton for bringing this resolution forward to our committee and for doing a lot of work on it. But yeah, with that, I'll turn it back to you, Brian, and then I guess out to the crowd.
Okay, is there any discussion? Not seeing any hands raised. Discussion. Is there any objection? Okay, we have a hand raised. So I'm on. Wait, we have a couple hand raises. And so I guess those are objections. I don't know. Iman, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to also include association members and owners, because if the Fairfax County notifies associations, the association may not share the information with the association members. Now, associations have far more power than the owners themselves in ruling and posting rules for the community. So association members, management companies that manage entire buildings have to be notified and have to be required to notify all residents.
Okay, we can't amend this on the floor here based off of our rules. So we either kind of accept it as it is, or I don't know what else we would do. But so I think your suggestion is important, but we can't change this. So we're either going to vote for this or we could send it back to a committee if we needed to.
The committee's decision is respected.
Okay, thank you. Mary Payton.
Hi, thanks, Brian. This resolution is kind of part of a larger idea that would give tenants and basically lower income people some kind of say in how Fairfax County develops. Right now, the state law requires that the Fairfax County notify property owners of any rezoning or comp plan changes in their neighborhood, but not renters. And about a third of the people in Fairfax County are renters, and they actually may be more progressive about how we develop than the property owners who have been here and may be more into the single family suburban lifestyle. And why are we excluding the renters when a property zoned is up for rezoning? Often the county planning commission, planning department will only notify the building superintendent or owner, not the tenants. And in this case in Mount Vernon, the mobile home park owner was notified, but she explicitly objected to the county notifying her mobile home owner tenants because she didn't want them to get upset about knowing that there was development going on next to them and that they were also included in the comp plan for being developed. Now, mobile homeowners own their home, but they do not own the land underneath it. If the land is sold for development, they often lose their home if it can't be moved, and many of the older ones can't be moved. And this is a major investment for them, $80,000, $90,000 in their homes, and they would have to walk away from it if it couldn't be moved. This is a bad state law, and we hope you would approve this amendment to give renters at least some aspect of being able to be involved in development in Fairfax County.
All right, thanks, Mary. Julie Straley.
Hi, Brian. Thank you so much. I'm the planning commissioner for the Mason District, and I have been chair of the Affordable Housing Committee and also the chair of the Schools Facilities Committee. And we have been working on this in a very deliberate manner. And I hope people have been following this because we have not had equitable engagement regarding schools facilities. And we are working on this in a very directed manner, specifically to include renters. Because in fact, if you will look at the Schools Facilities Committee meetings going back to September of last year, we have discussed this in detail. And I had the opportunity to draft an outreach plan in November that I circulated that is also on the commission's website on January 13th that discusses outreach. And this is related to schools facilities, but it specifically talks about reaching out to renters. After a conversation with Carla Bruce, as we were trying to facilitate this, it was clear that the policies were reaching out to homeowners, but not to renters. So for example, with Falls Church High School, there are a considerable number of families who are very long-term renters that live behind Knox Presbyterian Church. They were not engaged in the Falls Church High School renovation discussions. So this is very much at our forefront. I would greatly appreciate the support of the committee in working with me to include and encourage FCPS and other agencies to develop an equitable outreach policy as soon as possible. And that would be greatly appreciated. Also, the county is working on equitable outreach. There is a PowerPoint on this. And the Board of Supervisors adopted my follow-on motion to adopt this related to CIP. So I would be happy to answer any questions, and I would greatly appreciate active support in this effort. Also,
Julie, can I ask how that relates?
Sorry,
can I ask how that relates to the resolution that's on the floor? Or
yes,
I mean,
it's equitable outreach. It's talking about relating to residents who are not landowners. We also had this issue come before, as Mary discussed, on the mobile home community in Mount Vernon, and Dan Lagana and I were very vocal in making sure that we have equitable outreach. This is not just related to this. This is related to everything across the board. So not just related to the mobile home situation, but schools, facilities, and everything else. So thank you.
Okay. Looks like the next hand is John Farrell.
Thank you, Brian. As many of you know, I practice land use law here in the county. Seeing this resolution for the first time this evening. In Fairfax County, the obligation to send out notices to the abutting landowners is the applicant's obligation, not the County Board of Supervisors. They posted yellow sandwich boards. There is no way for an applicant, whether it's a church or a daycare facility or anything else, to know who the tenants are. That's a problem if we're going to make this work. If we want to make this the county obligation, God bless. But to put it on the church or the daycare center or anybody else, it's an unreasonable burden. The other part of it is the statute, the General Assembly has set forth who needs to be notified. If this motion said that we want the General Assembly to amend it to add home tenants, I might even vote for that. But to make it that it's the requirement of the governing body to notify tenants, I might even vote for that. But this proposal is illegal and ultra-virus and unworkable. So I'm going to be voting against it, and I would encourage the people who are promoting it to consult with somebody who actually practices land use law when they come back with a different resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. I have Donna, and just to be clear, I have to let everyone who wants to speak first speak before we go back. So Donna, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. So rarely, although I like John Farrell, rarely do I find myself agreeing with him. However, in this instance, I do agree with him. And I am concerned that I think the proposal is well intended. And I totally appreciate and understand the intent behind it. But landowners have specific rights, renters have specific rights. And so I would really encourage the group who proposed this to work with someone like John, who works in this area and knows what the ramifications are. And so I think it's a well-intended proposal, and I applaud you for that. But I don't think that it can stand. And I register my concern as both a lawyer and also as general counsel for FCDC. Thanks, Brian.
Okay, Harold Sims.
Thanks, Brian. Based on the information speaking to the motion, I would like to pose a subsequent or substantive motion that this be referred back to committee.
Okay, is there a second? The motion on the floor is to refer the resolution back to the state and local committee. Is there a second? And if you would like to second, there's some in chat. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I've gotten a whole bunch of private messages. Okay.
Second, sir.
Okay, so we need to have a vote on that. And I think we have a poll for that. Okay. Okay. So we can have discussion, and in per our rules, we can have up to 1 minute for and against recommitting this to the state and local committee. So I'm like Nora or Mary, who wants to speak? Presumably against the referral. You can just wave at me or something. I'm just going to lower hands, and if you'd like to speak, if I can. Where's the button for that? Here we go. Okay. Are there any? Is it okay? No, Nora. I have to allow you to. There we go. Go ahead. You have up to 1 minute.
Yeah, I just want to make a point that this is like FCDC as a political body does not make laws, and we also don't make policy. And so what we're trying to do here with this resolution is just encourage our planning commission, encourage our Fairfax County elected officials to figure out a way to value renters in our system of development and as we like make decisions together as a county. And it's not our job to say like, this is how you do this and this is illegal for some reason. Like that's not what we're setting out here to do. We are just here to make a suggestion and a political statement and support like equal notification for everyone. So yeah, I don't see a reason why it needs to go back to our committee. We unanimously sent it here. The steering committee also unanimously sent it. And so I don't support sending it back to committee.
Okay, is there anyone? I'm seeing John Farrell, so I will allow him to speak, I guess, presumably in favor of referral.
I would ask the committee to send it back to state and local. I'd be happy to sit with state and local if I'm, to work out on a resolution that seeks something that doesn't violate state law. Right now, we're asking the Planning Commission to violate state law. And I don't think that's in anybody's best interest. There's a way to get this idea properly framed so it's not dismissed as being a violation of state law. And I think the committee can probably work that through and come back at our next meeting with where we're asking the governing body to add this proposal to their legislative agenda for next year or something like that. But as it's framed right now, we're asking the Planning Commission to do something that they cannot by law do.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to, I guess I'll stop sharing my screen here. We're going to launch the poll there for the motion to refer. And I can see Mary is up, but FCDC has rules on discussion or whatever, and in a subsequent motion to a resolution, you can only have one person speak for and against, up to 1 minute. So we have the poll launched now. If you need to exit full screen or kind of swipe on your phone one way or the other to get to the poll, please do that now, and please make your selections now. Okay, the poll's been open. Well, this, okay. I'm going to say a last call for votes. The poll is 67% in favor of referring the resolution back to the State and Local Affairs Committee. I want to thank the committee for the discussion and all the folks that have put time into this resolution. And we can continue the discussion because the affordable housing in Fairfax County is very important to us. So thank you. The next order of business is a resolution on congratulating John Dwyer of DMP Printing for over 4 decades of exceptional service in a well-deserved retirement. I guess I'm going to pull up here. There were a couple, oops, that's the one. A couple copy edits that I've received that don't substantially change the resolution as it was sent. It sent to the committee over email, but I will pull it up here. I guess I will say I don't know that John or anyone from DMP Printing knows it, although it might be hard to keep it a secret when we send out an email. So, I guess it's important to note that FCDC for years, well, by resolution, we have committed to using union printers and DMP Printing with John Dwyer. Was our local printer of choice and had served FCDC for quite some time. So he is retiring and closing up the shop. So we just wanted to thank him for his service. So is there, I guess without objection, I'd like to have us consider the resolution as copy edited. And is there any discussion? Not seeing any discussion. Is there any objection? That means raise your hand if you would like us to not just have this approved. Okay, seeing no objections, the resolution is considered or is adopted unanimously. And we can move on to thank you, and thanks to John for his decades of FCDC membership, but also as our trusted printer and supporter. Is there any other new business? Leslie Mason.
I just want to say, I don't think it's going to be hard to keep a surprise from John, because Kathy and the children know, and we made sure that Jack didn't send anything out to John Dwyer on this email. So again, if we can keep it a surprise, and I did buy a table tonight for our dinner in July, and John, his wife, and his 2 children will be there. So I thank everybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the reminder to everyone about the Blue Fairfax dinner. And thanks for encouraging everyone to keep this. Hopefully we can keep this a surprise presentation at the July 17th dinner. And I hope you'll join us for that. Is there any other new business? Okay. I'm not seeing, oh, Deborah Woolen, maybe announcements. I don't know. Go ahead, Deborah.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Brian, for a couple of seconds. So Marie, I want to make sure I get her name correct. Marie Vorel, she sent me her notes for this evening, which are super helpful for the meeting minutes. So you don't have to do this, but for anyone for the next upcoming meetings, if you know that you're going to, if you have an announcement or if you know you're going to speak on something, if you could send me an email, just a quick blurb of what you're going to talk about, I can make sure I get those in the minutes for the evening. So just a suggestion, you don't have to, but it would be super helpful. That's all. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Deborah. Okay. We have we're on to announcements then. If you'd like to make an announcement, please raise your hand, and I am going to use my privilege as chair to start with 2 announcements. One is at the request of Manisha Singh, our one of our regional vice chairs, but she's also a vice chair with me on the 11th Congressional District Committee for the Virginia Democrats. The 11th Congressional District Democratic Committee will host their 22nd Sturtevant brunch on the 10th of July, a week before the FCDC dinner, from 10:30 a.m. at the Westwood Country Club. And this year we have this year we're excited to give the Sturtevant Award to Ginny Diamond, who is well known. I hope most of you know her, but if not, you should could try to learn more about her. As a legendary leader in our labor community, as the president of the AFL-CIO. And so we're very proud to do that. And also the Fairfax County Community Service Award goes to Natalie Nguyen Woodruff. So that's, like I said, it's the 22nd annual award thing for the 11th Congressional District. And you can go to I'll put the link in the chat for the link to the Sturtevant. Or Manisha already did it for me. Thanks, Manisha. And then the second thing I have is June 11th. My friend and former FCDC chair Sue Langley is hosting a fundraiser for, I was going to say most, but almost all of our board of supervisors. I believe it's I got to pull up the information. It's called Gearing Up for Fairfax. And of course, we would love to see you there, and our Democratic supervisors would love to have your support as we start to gear up for next year's important elections. So I'll put that link in the chat as well. Oh, that's already in there from Joanne Collins, who has her hand raised and maybe was thinking about saying the same thing. Okay, that's it. So Susan Peterson is next. Go ahead, Susan.
Thank you, Brian. I have 2 announcements. The first is that Hunter Mill Democrats will be hosting a table with Jerry Connolly's team at Viva Vienna. There are still 1 or 2 slots open for people to come out and volunteer with us. And we would really welcome that. I think Joanne is going to put the sign of genius for that into the chat. In addition to that, on the margins of Viva Vienna, the Connolly folks will be hosting a canvas to get out to the Vienna area neighborhoods that have been redistricted into the Connolly territory. So we hope you'll also think about coming out and canvassing with us. And then secondly, I know July is getting to be quite busy, but on July 16th, Dulles area Democrats will be hosting a an evening reception for Jennifer Wexton at Three Creeks Winery in Loudoun County. It's a really beautiful setting. It will be from 6 to 9. There will be a lot of activities, a lot of good wine. And so we hope folks will consider coming out and making an active weekend of it with everything that is going on that weekend. But come join us out in Loudoun County at Three Creeks Winery. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. And Joanne Collins is next. And let's see, there we go. Go ahead. Or do I need to unmute?
Oh, okay, there we go. I'm just giving a report for Jerry Poggi, who's no longer on the meeting, but there will be a vigil at the NRA that's being planned for the evening coming up. Usually we meet there once a month on the 14th of the month, but something will be coming out shortly. So be on the lookout that there will be a vigil at the NRA coming up. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Joanne. Jane Materna.
Good evening, Fairfax Dems. I wanted to invite you to the 20th anniversary gala for Pro-Choice Virginia, which is happening on June 9th. And I put it on the FCD calendar so you can find the RSVP and information. It's on June 9th. It's going to be in person at the Army Navy Country Club in Arlington. There will be opportunity to be indoors and outdoors, so lots of space, food and wine. Several of our electeds, congressional levels, state levels will be there, as well as Representative Barbara Lee from California. Pro-Choice Virginia is the leading state-based advocacy group for reproductive freedom in Virginia. And we're actually going to be announcing our new name at the gala. So I would encourage all of you who are interested in the Roe v. Wade situation and getting involved to attend the gala. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Tina Barczyk.
School board member Carl Frisch is at a board working session that is running late tonight, but he asked me to make an announcement on his behalf. On Saturday, June 18th, Carl will be hosting his first in-person event since 2019. Joining him in Vienna, Virginia is an exciting special guest, Mary Trump, the former president's niece who shocked the world with her best-selling book about how her family created the world's most dangerous man. You won't want to miss what she has to say. Also in attendance will be Congressman Jerry Connolly, Chairman Jeff McKay, and Delegate Mark Keene, who will be on hand for remarks. You can learn more about this event by visiting prouddems.org. That's proud, P-R-O-U-D, dems.org. Thanks.
And next, we have Makia Little.
Hello, everyone. For those of you I have not had the opportunity to meet, I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Makia Little. I am running for Virginia House of Delegates to represent the newly drawn 19th district. Most of that district is made up of the Mount Vernon area. However, it does include a portion of Woodbridge, of which I am a resident. I have been a resident of Woodbridge, Virginia since 1996, but I also am a graduate of Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. So I've always had that dual Prince William County, Fairfax experience. Yesterday, I actually had my first event in the new 19th district where we invited out members of the National Pan-Hellenic organizations. Those are like historically Black fraternities and sororities. You may have heard of a few: Alpha Phi Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, AKA. And there were some leaders in the community like Jennifer Carroll Foy, Derek Wood, the mayor of Dumfries, and some other school board members from the region who came out to really talk about voter education, especially with regards to redistricting. A lot of the Pan-Hellenic organizations already have a lot of voter outreach, voter education, get out to vote operations. And so the goal of yesterday's event was really to train the trainers, if you will. So those who already have the infrastructure to reach out to voters, especially in communities that are historically underrepresented, we wanted to make sure that they were equipped with the information to be force multipliers and establish those networks and relationships. We also had representatives from RAISER, which is the resolution addressing systemic racism. So hoping to form some new partnerships there. And if there's anything that I can do to help facilitate those conversations to make sure that those in the community are already doing voter outreach outside of the Democratic caucus, I'm happy to do so. Thanks again, and I look forward to meeting more of you.
All right, thanks, Makia. Next is Matt Savage.
Thanks, Brian. I just wanted to invite everyone on behalf of the Providence Dems to the annual Summer Fest, which will be July 24th, which is Sunday. It's a tentative, or it's not a tentative date. It's a save the date. More information with an RSVP link and a link to get your tickets will be sent out soon. But again, it's July 24th, a Sunday, and it will be at the Dunn-Loring Fire Department. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. And last but not least, Don Craig.
Can you hear me? It's saying stay muted.
Yes.
Okay, you hear me? Okay, thank you. Hello, thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to share an event that myself, Melissa Chambeau, and Linda Sperling are hosting a meet and greet for Senate candidate for the 33rd, Jennifer Carroll Foy on June the 11th. And I did put the information in the chat. So hopefully, if you're in the new 33rd, please come out. There's nothing else just to learn, to meet Jennifer Carroll Foy, and then, again, learn what she's about. So thank you, Brian.
And I guess I misspoke, Leslie Mason. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's really pursuing and pushing for Wexton, Laurie, and Spanberger. It's going to be a tight race for everybody. And I just want to let you know that we had an event here in McLean for Wexton, Laurie, and Spanberger, and we raised close to $87,000. And we had a lot of elected officials there, including the 3 congresswomen. Don Beyer couldn't attend, but he sent a check. Jerry was there. He donated money. Jennifer Boysko, she was there, donated money. Eileen Fillercorn there and donated money. And Kathleen Murphy and Brian, yourself. And I do want to thank everybody and just know that it's not just us that are supporting these women and putting our money where our mouth is, but it's our candidates as well. So I encourage everybody to be as generous as you can. And I thank you very much. And thank you for passing the resolution to John Dwyer. He's a real stand-up guy and we owe him a lot, and gratitude is the attitude. And again, I thank you very much.
Thanks, Leslie. I guess there are a couple of reports, a couple other questions in the chat about like whether or not we have elections this year for the House. And we still don't know. There were rumors that the lawsuit that might force them this year was going to be dropped, and that hasn't happened yet. It still remains to be seen. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us at our meeting, since we don't have any other announcements. I do want to just, again, I guess, I don't know if I just didn't have the latest numbers, whatever, but I saw another update that we're up to 18 children that were killed in this Texas shooting. I went to Virginia Tech, which for a long time was the largest shooting, a mass murder event in the country with 32 victims. And for years, I'd said every year on the anniversary of the Virginia Tech shooting on April 16th, I would post. You could go back and look at my Twitter timeline and see that I would say, another year gone by and we've done nothing. But I was very happy a couple years ago when we had Democratic control that we were able that we were actually able to pass some common sense gun reform in Virginia, and that we have some good laws on the books that are going to help keep people safe, especially when you have folks out there that are unstable, with the red flag laws and such. You know, we have made progress in Virginia, and that's because the Democrats are leading. So, you know, we can be sad. We need to talk about how terrible a tragedy it is, but we are on the right side of this, and we need to continue to push to do great things to help make America better, make America great. Jerry, have your hand raised.
Thanks so much, Brian. Yeah, just today, at the Boards of Supervisors meeting, Chairman McKay recognized as Moms Demand Action were appearing before the Boards of Supervisors. He recognized and issued a proclamation that June 3rd will be Gun Violence Awareness Day in Fairfax County, urging everybody to wear the color orange for that particular day. But he also recognized the important power that was given to the counties by the state legislature when we controlled everything, so that we could restrict gun usage in certain localities and at certain events. And that's a power that we gained from our democratic control and was exercised locally by our democratic board. So all of us should feel proud of that work. We've blocked all the bad bills because we hold on to the Senate, and they weren't able to do that, and they never reached the desk of a terrible governor. So we have to be positive about what we're doing here, even as the tragedies just rock us back on the soles of knocks us right over. We will do a vigil at the NRA on the 14th of the month. We had planned it to be one focused on the Buffalo tragedy, which was the largest gun violence tragic event with horrific white racism at the heart and soul of it. But that was being planned as the events today ensued. So we're in a little bit of a rock back position trying to figure out what to do next best. There will be vigils. They may be out of the order that we've been usually doing them, and they might involve many more organizations who want to step up with us on this. So our elected official Democrats are speaking up with power. I urge us to stay in support of them and echo their remarks, because that is going to be a winning issue for us in this coming election cycle.
Thank you, Jerry. I think that's it then. I mean, I wish we had, I wish we all felt better. I wish I could give everyone a hug, like I said, but that's it for our May meeting. And I was trying to get us out before 9, but we had some good important things in there. So there being no further business, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is July 26th, 2022, 7:30 p.m. I'm not sure if it'll be hybrid or in person or virtual or whatever. We'll give you updates on that as we get closer and we can feel things out a little bit more. I thank you for your attention and your time today, and thank you for being a member of FCDC. Have a good night.